Good afternoon. Afternoon, everybody. Hope you're all well. Ian, I appreciate that, mate. That's that's very nice, mate. It is a little community, but no, I'm really enjoying it. I actually really enjoy coming on these streams. It's something that I never thought I would like to do. But ever since it's starting to grow now and getting more and more people in it, it's yeah, I do really enjoy it. So anyway, what I thought this weekend, to have a little fun competition every week and give away $50. Right, I'm going to give away $50 every Friday now. To give you your beer money, you're going out with your partner to eat money. And how I'm going to do it is every Monday, so the start of every week, every Monday, everybody that's on the stream, and if you're watching this on catch up, you can comment your answer down below. I need the answers on Monday. Is we're going to have a prediction for what price you think the SPX will be on Friday. And whatever price it's at when I start my stream on Friday at 1 o'clock, the closest person, I'll give you $50. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, you'll have to do that. But yeah, I'll PayPal you $50 to whoever gets the closest price prediction. So a little bit of fun. I'm going to predict it as well. I'm going to say my personal prediction I put in on the website this morning was 4455. And if I win, I'll keep the money, basically, and we'll roll it over to next week, which I probably won't because there's probably going to be more people in there. So if you're watching this live, put in your little predictions or comment down below, and whoever wins, I'll give you $50 on Friday for your beer or wine money or Coke money. Hey, Rain, how you doing? Inna, very small. Yeah, smack that like. I appreciate this. Ashutosh. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Hey, everyone came here straight from A1. I appreciate that, mate. Okay. Let's get into the market, shall we? That's what we're here for. So we'll start with the SPX. This SPX looks slightly different. So what we had last week was a decent push down, a nice complex corrective, a break underneath B wave, and certainly risk-off nature. Now, I believe it was on Friday where I said, just watch for a potential pullback. Because at this point in time, during this hammer, we've got to think continuation to the downside because that's what all the charts were telling us. It's risk off, yen was weak. We got to think about, okay, we moved from this impulse, very similar to here, and we're probably expecting that pullback. Hey, Mohammed, mate, good to see you. I'll make it 4,300. Okay, I'll submit your answer in there, Rohan, 4,300. So we had this push up. Now, we can see that this is slightly different from this, right? So it looks a little bit more like a decent push rather than a corrective. So my sneaky suspicion here is the SPX may want to rise. The bias or the trend is to the downside, but what we could possibly be in, thinking about Dow theory, again, you got primary trend, secondary trend, tertiary trend, is even though we've technically changed trend from this daily because we've broken this swing, it could be part of that secondary trend within that primary trend. So daily doesn't look too bad. You know, decent bar here on this daily. Rejection. Markets tried to move down to the support zone. Didn't quite get there. And a rejection on a decent bit of volume. So if we get a 4-hour that closes, similar to how this potential 4-hour is closing here, and a slight push on, maybe we could see this SPX rise, you know, or possibly we get something like this, a head and shoulders. But we have to remember, we've not broken this downtrend anchor, so we are still technically on a downtrend. I just think if we close as a hammer and start pushing on, maybe we could see the end of this downtrend, this potential corrective, potential secondary trend within that primary trend. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Remember, it is a Monday. I just have a sneaky suspicion that this market may want to rise, in which case you may get decent entries if that yen decides to weaken off, if that Swiss decides to weaken off into those commodity currencies, possibly. Now, obviously, if we fail and we break and close underneath this area, you've got to be thinking, okay, looks a bit more certainly bearish. But for added confirmation, a break above this anchor, and certainly a break above this swing, would give you that risk on possible nature rather than risk off and maybe churning to an uptrend. VP 4420. Okay, I'll add you in. VP 4420. Alan, how you doing? FX Tomcats. Good to see you. Good. Thanks for everyone for joining. I appreciate it. Okay, let's go into the dollar. dollar here, again, kind of similar to what we thought may happen. We're getting a slight pullback on the daily. Now, the 4-hour is not massively worrying me at the moment. We thought potentially, because we hadn't broken this slight wick to the downside, that we may be in this correction through time rather than through price. Now, this bearish bar obviously changed that, but that doesn't mean I'm saying go and sell the dollar, because we have come from this move to the upside and we are, looks to be, in this slight corrective. So for me, if you put a fib on it from the start of the move here to the top of the move, we're getting this 50% zone, which the DXY likes, the EURUSD likes, the DXY likes a 50% pullback. Possibly getting a catalyst on the support zone. Maybe we get that continuation to the upside in the dollar. So you can see the difference between the charts on the SPX and the DXY. So the SPX, although the pullback looks a little bit bullish, with the dollar, it's not really the same at the moment. It still looks like a nice corrective. We know trends can't continue forever, but if you get a catalyst, you'd expect it to come down to that 50, even though we opened quite well. Market isn't taking this yet. From this push to the upside, we'll have that support zone for a possible decent entry in the dollar. If you have a dollar set up roughly around that area, maybe a decent time to buy on a pullback. So we've got to go with that trend. If we decide to close underneath, we still have that 61. So the path of least resistance for the dollar is still to the upside, and the daily still looks good, right? There's nothing there worrying me at the moment. I'm not saying this can't go down. Obviously it can, but there's nothing there. If we're playing the averages over 1,000 times, you play that to the upside on a catalyst to go long, in my personal opinion. Please like the stream on behalf. Yeah, appreciate that, Ron. Yeah, if you like it, please like it. And remember, if you want to enter into that competition, it's completely free for $50. Just put in your prediction for the SPX price on Friday at 1, and whoever wins it, I'll give you $50. How about that? Okay, Aussie yen, setups today, Aussie yen. Now, I like Aussie yen. It's breaking through as well to the upside. It supports that SPX potential movement to the upside. So we were talking about this last week on account of this larger V reversal, complex corrective, looking for a break of B wave. Now, we haven't got the setup here. We've got our V reversal and we're tagging that area. So I wouldn't be taking the break just yet. I need a slight little reload here before I can think about taking the break from B wave. If we don't get that, if it does decide to push on, you know, we could look for a setup up here. We were looking at this down here on this hammer bar. Even though the SPX looked weak, this hammer bar is a bullish sign. So you could have played that from this move, a simple corrective back, rejection of that 200, and it has started to move up. So for me, I need another reload back to that 20 and for a potential break from B wave on this Aussie yen. Now, not only that, on these smaller time frames, we can see we're breaking out. So on these smaller time frames, we've got our V reversal and accumulation, higher volume on this rough breakout zone here. So if we get a breakout, retest, and move to the upside, our catalyst around this region on high volume, I would be happy taking that break to the upside. Purely because, now we don't know this is going to have a reload. It might do, in which case we don't get the breakout on the smaller time frames. That's perfectly fine. But if it does decide to break out, a break in B wave is a good sign for me. So a potential Aussie yen longs, breakout retest. I don't take breaks on these smaller time frames. Actually looks pretty good. Look at the daily. Push on. For trend continuation to the downside, you expect this to take. That's not what we got here. So on Friday, market tried to push it down. Nice hammer bar on high volume, rejecting that 20, and now we're having a slight push. So I kind of like that, you know. I kind of like Aussie yen to the upside, waiting for those smaller time frames, but also we could look for a breakout as well. Pound Aussie. Pound Aussie, I think, is probably gone off this push. I was looking at it here on this cup with handle. This would have to reset up for me, possibly a head and shoulder, something like that for a breakout retest to the downside. I do my watch list a few hours ago, so sometimes things can go. And I think maybe, unless this resets up, you've got to let it go and just wait. So Pound Aussie, potentially no trade. Pound Kiwi. Pound Kiwi's better. Again, the only issue we have with this Pound Kiwi is we are above these moving average on the daily. There's no doubt that this looks good, right? Looks nice. A lot of wicks to the upside here. Path of least resistance is to the downside. Looking for a break underneath this zone. So a break underneath here. We've got our V reversal. Nice corrective channel. Rejection of those moving averages. Pushing through. Breakout. Retest to move to the downside. You could even take this as a larger head and shoulders followed by a corrective channel. Either way, this is nice. The only issue, and we've had this quite a few times on setups over the past summer, are these moving averages here, right? Because the 200 is a period, certainly the strongest for dynamic support. However, in saying that, we've tagged that 200 multiple times. So you could possibly say those orders have been filled. So if we do get to the break to the downside, it might be roughly around those moving averages and possibly below it. In which case, if we do break below it, you may expect a retest on those smaller time frames. So this I like as well. I like pound New Zealand to the downside. I like the trades. I like the fact that we're getting in at a potential decent move to the downside because this has been digested. So if we do get a break and we do get what we want, there's no reason why we can't move and have a decent impulse because it seems ready to move. So pound New Zealand looking for potential shorts. New Zealand yen. New Zealand yen, this one is going a little bit as well. Context, we've got the context here in terms of a head and shoulders. Notice we had this before. Markets have a memory. Decent breakthrough. Are we going to get the same thing here again? Closed above the 200. So in terms of counter trend, and this is a counter trend trade, we have to be aware of that. The context is there. So for counter trend, I have to get something that gets me in. And that head and shoulders, potentially you could say this is a double bottom as well. Right? Again, similar to, I think, Aussie yen. Markets tried to push it down, rejecting, and now we're pushing back up again. So the context is there. I have a feeling this may run. This may have gone. So I don't know whether you who got my watch list got into that or not. Again, they're just there to help you out. If you like it, then it's up to you whether you want to take those ideas. But we had a nice V reversal. Good complex corrective here. A, B, shallow C. Push on to that 200. Tag that area. And our nice little reload before a break. And notice where that reload comes on that 20 symbol. Right? 20 symbol. Morning star. Push above the 200. And off we go. So I think maybe that might have gone for a retest. But again, decent idea we had on the watch list this morning. Just added. Again, it's very important for these counter trend trades that you have some reason to get you in. So if this had been, for example, like this, a corrective channel, there's no confluence there, excuse me. There's no reason to get in, but your head and shoulders, the theoretical nature of that pattern is it's a trend change pattern, and you got a breakout of that neckline. So good little idea there, but I feel that I'm not going to get a trade in it. Oil. WTI is another one that I like. We were actually looking at this down here, but there was not an entry for us, but a good idea nonetheless. Pushing up, we are going with trend. Nice pullback on this 4 hour. So look there, very simple entry if that's the way that you like to trade, a hammer bar. Pushed on. Nice corrective here, pushing through potentially B wave. Head and shoulders. 4 hours caught up to that 20. Nice little digestion from this move. So for me, I like it. We're going with that trend. I like it. 30-minute, we've got our cup with handle. This is a nice complex corrective. Good bar here. Haven't pushed through the area yet. But this, as a kind of range, we always look to 50% of our basing structure. We've got that. A breakout, retest to go long. That for me, again, I like that. I like all these trades. I know in New Zealand yen is probably gone, but I like a lot of these setups. You know, going with the trend, there's nothing majorly overly complicated about this. 4 hour, nicely digested, looking to break through that anchor. And if we get a breakthrough, that'll show on this 4 hour chart. So oil looks decent to the upside. And finally, the China 50. The China 50, I think I've watched this for about 3 weeks now. I can't even remember. But this is still in play, right? We've not broken through these highs. We're still potentially getting our squeeze into the area. Might need a little bit more, but I'm still going to keep this on my watch list as I have done for quite some time. Simple cup with handle. cup with handle, and a cup with handle, and then a cup with handle to potentially take this to the downside. If we break above, it's something that we'll take out, but yeah, let's see what that does. It's a daily chart, so it's probably going to take a little bit of time to set up. Okay, so let me know if you want me to look at anything. That's me done with all my pairs. I like a lot of them. USDCAD, let's do USDCAD. Remember, guys, if you're just tuned in, we are doing a competition where I'll go through that again just so everybody's aware, because I think there's quite a few people in here right now, which is great. So thank you for that. So put in your predictions for what price you think the SPX will be at this time on Friday, and the winner will get $50 PayPal to pay for your beers in the weekends. So my personal prediction, I've gone 4455. There is people entering this from the website as well, but the winner, I'll give you $50. There you go. And finally, what was I doing? Sorry, USDCAD. 20 people. Hey, that's the most I've ever had. 20 people watching. Thank you, everybody. Amazing. If you can like the video, that'd be great. But no, thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I've been doing this now for months. This is the most people I've ever had. Okay, USDCAD. USDCAD looks to be approaching this support zone. Now, with the US dollar, did I do the DXY? Yeah, I did the DXY. If we get to that 50% on the DXY, which you probably expect to coincide with this support area, the dollar wants to strengthen, then possibly you get a reaction. You're expecting a possible reaction from this area, okay? You're probably expecting that. Now, if stocks push, you might expect those commodity currencies to strengthen up. In which case, maybe you get our larger structure here for potential breakout to the downside. I might add that into my watches, actually. I've just noticed that now. So even though USDCAD looks decent to the downside, I wouldn't discount a reaction roughly around this support zone. Now, if markets fall, because remember, markets, we are technically in a downtrend in terms of the intraday sense of the word. If the markets fall, you certainly could see a push, because you'd expect to see that strength in the US dollar, that weakening off in the CAD. However, in terms of my bias, if you're looking at it short, you know, this wouldn't be a bad entry, waiting for that pullback for a potentially break of this structure to the downside. USDCAD, again, is trying to... We've had this impulse. Maybe we're losing momentum from a larger sense of the word. It doesn't look great in terms of upside action. This price action isn't nice. For me personally, that is not nice at all. Maybe you're getting that head and shoulders. My bias would be to the downside. My bias would be to the downside after a reaction here. So I wouldn't be taking the break. I don't like taking breaks on slight extensions. That's not really what we want to do, because more than likely you'll be caught out in a fake out. So wait for that reaction. Wait for that 20. That's why I use the 20. Very simple price action. Get a little reload back to that 20 for potential continuation to the downside, in my personal opinion. You're good, Ryan. I appreciate that, Ezio. Ezio? Is it Ezio or Ezio? I don't want to say it wrong. I appreciate that, mate. SPX 4290 by Friday. 4290. Okay, I'll add you into the competition as well. 4290. So you're expecting downward movement. 4290. Okay. I like the way you trade. I appreciate that, mate. Right, guys, I've got nothing. If you want me to look at anything, let me know now. But that's really the ones I'm looking at. So Aussie yen, I certainly like. Ezio. Okay, Ezio. I'll remember that. Aussie yen, definitely like to the upside. Pound Aussie is gone. Pound New Zealand, I like to the downside. New Zealand yen, I like to the upside. Oil, I like to the upside. So there's a few of them there that I do like. I'll put this on here if you want to grab a little screenshot of it. That's what I'm looking at. If you want this for free, I send this out for free. So send me a DM on Instagram, and I send the watch list out every morning. Or if you're part of the A1 or part of RTFX, then you'll get that. We've got NFP on Friday. Yep, correct. First Friday of the month. 4560 from Ran Masu. Okay, you're into the draw. 4560. EURJPY. Okay, I'll do EURJPY and then I'll be done. EURJPY. EURJPY breaking structure here. The yen's weakening off, right? The yen's weakening off. Like I said, if the SPX does push and we get that proper momentum, you'd expect that yen Swiss to weaken off, in which case buying those commodities makes sense. Or selling the yen, selling the Swiss still makes sense as long as we're getting that in terms of the Forex market. The only thing I don't like about this is this 4 hour. You know, even though we've had a decent push, yep, I get that. We've come from here. I think, who asked me about Euro Yen? Alan, I think there's better things to be trading, mate, but I understand taking a breakout from this zone or a breakout retest potentially, but there's no context there for me. Right? If we had this the opposite way around and had a cup with handle or potentially something, I mean, yeah, you could say slight here, nice corrective, push that 20. Doesn't look too bad, but you've got things in your way. If you're going long, I don't know whether you're going long or short, but you've got things in your way there for resistance to your movement to the upside. You've got this 200, this 20, again on the daily. I just think there's better things to trade, Alan. I think certainly the ones that I've got on my list, I think are much better for potential opportunities than Euro Yen, simply because of the restrictions to your price to the upside, if you're moving to the upside. That's my opinion. 4560. Okay, oh, you're all in. So remember, if you want to get involved, get your answer in, comment down below, put it in the chat, and I'll put you in for Friday. And yeah, just a little fun competition we'll do every week. But I appreciate you guys coming. Honestly, that's the most I've ever had on a stream, so that's great for me after months of doing this. But I appreciate all the guys that are new. I appreciate all the older members, Ian, Rohan, Alan, all those kind of guys. I appreciate you joining. It's great. Any thoughts on upcoming NFP, or does it throw everything in the air? I'll talk about that on Wednesday, Friday, Ezio, because it will affect the market. It will affect the market NFP, but I'll do some analysis, kind of fundamental analysis on it later on in the week and go through it. I don't think the market could wait for it. Yeah, the market could simply range until then. There's no doubt about it, till the news comes out, but we'll have to wait and see. All right, guys, I appreciate you being here. I'll see you all on Wednesday, and trade safe. Peace.